don't share it, it's a secret. Don't share it, it's a secret. Don't share it, it's a secret. Don't share it, it's a secret.
It's your boy, the young boss, Natomas Slimm, and we chopping up game with music manager, artist manager, music mogul, music marketer, branding manager, all the above, everything there. We got Diana right here. What's going on, Diana? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your busy life, going from LA to Atlanta, Atlanta to LA, LA to Atlanta, and now you're back in LA, right?
I'm in LA.
So Diana, I want to bring you on because you're behind the scenes of a lot of artists that are starting to buzz and some that's already popped off. And not a lot of people know what goes on behind the scenes of an artist. Some people just think they put out music and then people just catch on to it, and all of a sudden people ride that wave. But there's a reason why people catch on, and there's a reason why there's a wave. And you one of the people that make that wave happen. So can you let the folks know what exactly you do?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I do a lot, but known for being an artist manager, I currently manage 3 artists that are based in Atlanta, named Sayari the Kid, Damar Jackson, and Pacquiao. I throw shows. So I've been throwing shows since 2012 in Atlanta called the Schweinbeck Industry Mixer. This is like a hub for all the upcoming artists, a chance to get exposure in the city and perform. A lot of artists have passed through my stage, from Rich the Kid to K Camp to JID to Earth Gang. So a lot of the Atlanta artists that have came out of Atlanta have performed at my shows. So I continue to do those. I'm head of marketing at a distribution company called Sync Music based in LA. So that is my newest role. Overall, I have a company called Schweinbeck LLC, which is a branding and exposure company, which really does everything from PR work to throwing shows to management. So just like an overall upcoming artist industry hub type company. If you tell me what you need, if I can't do it, I'll go find someone who can. But half the time, I can get it done.
Yeah. So say I'm a new artist, right? Popping off. I come to you and I'd be like, yo, Diana, I got this hot track. I know I'm the dopest shit out there. I need you to make shit happen. How do you make shit happen?
So if it was just an artist that came to me, I would ask them to book a consultation with me. And that's probably my best service ever, because it's like a one-on-one conversation where they ask me any questions they have about the industry, any advice they may need. And then we dive into a marketing plan about what they're trying to put out. So if it's a single, if it's an album, we really go in and we create a rollout. And this marketing rollout is something that they can either go follow on their own and they can utilize me where they need me, or they can hire me like a monthly retainer, and then I'll run the project, kind of like a project management type deal. But every song is different, it's like, you listen to the record, I hear from the artist, their ideas, their thoughts on it. And then I kind of go through, like, I always say, like, a personalized checklist of things that you should have done first complete as an artist. Like, you need to have your bio, your EPK, you need to have all your profiles claimed. And then we kind of go in and we create this marketing plan for this song to get as many people as we can to hear it and support it.
So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just you put out a song and say, hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and it's crazy because until I started at Sync Music, like, that's what I was doing with my artists. Of course, in the end, we were always doing some kind of marketing or branding strategies, but it was never like a full plan. Like, on this date, we're dropping this, and then we're going to drop this, and then we're going to do this. And this is all leading up to the song releasing, because you have to have a plan. Because one thing I did learn is this is the most competitive industry. So while all these people are dropping, the next hit record or the next star album, whatever you want to call it, there's someone else doing the same thing. So how are you gonna stand out from the others out there? And that all goes into your marketing rollout.
Okay, so how would you tell somebody to stand out, right? To be one step ahead of everybody else that's doing something. Like you said, it's very competitive. There's a lot out there. There's like 60,000 songs that go on Spotify daily. You know what I mean? So how would somebody be able to stand out?
to stand out is proper planning, right? A lot of artists that I see these days, like they'll put out a song and then like they'll put it out, it'll just drop, right? There's nothing leading up to it. So you got to have a plan that's one, letting people know that it's coming and building up this anticipation for them to want more and more music. So that's something I try and teach my clients at Sync is like, I know you have great music and I know you're ready to put it out, but we cannot just throw this song out there, right? You got to give me 3 to 4 weeks to be able to, one, put together a proper pitch and let these outlets know and the DSPs know that, one, this record is coming out. And this is like, I'm big on like telling a story. And I feel like that's what brings in so many people because it's personal. It's like they get attached to something. So one, letting people know the story of this record, not so much the story of the artist, because that'll happen as they continue to drop, but like, what does this record mean to you? Like, what inspired it? Like, what's the story behind this record that's gonna be able to get other people to be like, wow, like that happened to me, or I really feel like why he did that record or she did that record. So that's always my first step, and then it kind of goes into each record is different, right? So depending if it's something we want to focus on TikTok with, or if we want to go to Snapchat, or if we want to just focus on Facebook and Instagram ads and getting people just to see it, it really depends. But the first part for me is one, getting the ample amount of time and then finding out what that story is and being able like to portray it in the best way possible.
Okay, and you mentioned DSPs for folks that don't understand the lingo.
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
So service platform, and it's okay if you don't know what that is, because when I started at Sync and I was having my interview, they were like, okay, so what about the DSPs? I'm like, the what? I'm like, I never called them that. Like we call them Spotify, Apple Music, you know, these are aggregators that can get you on their platform. So Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon, Deezer, these are all DSPs.
Is where you go to stream stuff.
Yes, it's the streaming
that's
network.
Yeah, that's what DSPs are, folks. Is where you stream your music. The
right.
app that's on your phone is a DSP.
Yeah.
So what got you into wanting to be a artist manager, a branding and consulting, a marketer, being behind the scenes of a person behind the scenes and pushing artists and music and stuff? What made you want to get into that?
My story's a little different than other people because one, I've always loved music. Like I grew up going to every type of concert possible, like every genre. I always like 3 6 Mafia was like my go-to. I grew up 3 6 Bone Thugs. And I was like the girl in school that made, and I feel like the story gets said a lot, but I really was the girl that made the burn CDs, and I would write all the names, and I didn't sell them. I just give them out. So all my friends would listen, whatever. So that's just a little background. Not saying I, graduated and went to college to go pursue music. I didn't. So I graduated high school in Alpharetta, Georgia, which is like 30 miles north of Atlanta. So when I graduated, I got into Georgia State. So I moved to the city of Atlanta, like right in the smack of downtown. And moving to Atlanta, I literally, everybody I met was in the music industry. Like I'm a DJ, I'm a producer, I promo, and it was like, I just started building so many like strong relationships as just friendships. Like nothing had to do with music. So I would be that girl in the studio, like, what do you do? I'm like, nothing. Like I was an accountant. Like I was in school for finance. I was accounts payable. Like I started in the corporate world very young. So I was already having my 9 to 5 all through college, but I still was like in the mix. And so I had a friend at the time and he was like, why don't you put 2 and 2 together? Like, why don't you have all these like amazing relationships? People really like being around you and you're in school for business, like create, just work in it. Yeah. So I started managing Rich the Kid. That was my first artist. And it was at a time, like we were very young. I was like, this was like 2000. I don't want to say my age. I'm not that old, but like I was probably like 20, 21. And, he was a couple years younger than me. So this was like a learning experience. So it was still like building these relationships. The music industry was completely different back then. Like no streaming. We were focused on live mixtapes, Dat Piff. We wanted our songs there.
Oh, Dat Piff. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was
not about that.
No,
all those Lil Wayne
coming back. A very important platform, with because there are some people these days that they don't listen to Apple Music. They go to live mixtapes still. It's just what you prefer. But yeah, like that's just how I started. You know, me and Rich, we ended up not working together anymore. We just moved on with our careers, which I still wish him the best. We're great friends, always for life. But then from there, you know, I had other artists that were watching me this process that came to me like, oh, I want to manage you. Then I started throwing my shows and came this brand. Like I said, a lot of people don't know my name is Diana. They call me Schweinbeck, or they don't even know I'm like a little white girl in the club and they don't know it's me. But I liked it like that. I liked that not a lot of people knew who I was, but they knew my name and they wanted to meet me, but they could be standing right next to me and they didn't know that was me. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I started. Not the typical, you know, oh, I want to be in music, but I'll just say it fell in my lap, but I'm so thankful that it did, because it's something that I love and it's something I want to pursue, you know, even further.
So how did you make your connections, right? Because in order to have a business and a brand that you have, you gotta, you know folks. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be out there and network and reach out and touch somebody like AT&T. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be in the mix. So how are you able to navigate it? Since everybody was in music that you said, that means that there's everybody competing against you as well.
For sure. Really going back to just being in Atlanta, like Atlanta is one of those cities where we have so much to do in the music industry. Like every night there was an event. Like this was back when listening parties were really big. And I forgot to mention this, but like when my friend was like, you know, put two and two together, I was like, okay, like what do I do? So I started reaching out to people in the city, and like, I wouldn't say I was their intern, but I tried to be. Like a lot of them didn't take me serious, but they allowed me to like come out. Like Miss River City was really big back then for throwing the listening parties. So I remember reaching out to her like, hey, like, can I come help you at these parties? So she gave me like a clipboard and like go around and get people's emails. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I was going around and I was just introducing myself and meeting people and just seeing how like she created this event, all the steps she had to do. And then I started throwing my own events, and I did the same thing for promo. At that time, Rapstar promo was really big. I reached out to him like, hey, how can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. He taught me how to do the promotion game. So then boom, like, okay, now I can do promotion. So I kind of went and just learned every avenue of it to where I didn't really need anybody at that point. It's like, I was just my own, like, I got to learn everything I can learn and just like get it done. But yeah, just being outside, like one thing is like, I was at every event, so everyone would see me. They might not know who I was, but they saw me at every event, and I was networking and I was introducing myself. At that time, Twitter was like huge. Twitter was the easiest platform to like, I could reach out to anybody and get a response. And
Twitter used to be it used to be true person-to-person contact. You'll tweet somebody and they hit you back. You'd be like, oh, yo, yeah, what's up, Ray J?
No restricted DMs. Like you saw you're either gonna tweet back or you're not. And I so many relationships are just getting invited to shows and going out there, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I have a good personality, so people like being around me. They like my aura, and I enjoy that. I enjoy like being around people I want to be around, but then at the end of the day, we'll be able to do business together and get things done. And I think that's always like stood out for me, because like I said, that's how I started. I wasn't trying to rap. I wasn't trying to produce or DJ. I was just like, this is awesome. My friends are artists, and like, I'm going to support their careers. And then I ended up being able to help them more than I thought. So it all just came full circle.
When did you figure out this is something that you could actually do? Or, you know what I mean? Like you could make this your own, right? Like you could create your own business on this, that you could be a one-woman show and you could actually manage people and be successful doing it.
It was a lot of ups and downs, because, you know, I feel like I probably thought that I could do this a little bit too early, because I did quit my 9-to-5 and was like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm having my company. I took that leap of faith. And, you know, some weeks I'd be up, some I would be down, but I could just, the way I could tell is just how people were, how they would interact with me. Like, I never looked at myself higher than anybody else, and I'll still never do that to this day. Like, I work with independent artists, and I'm always trying to help upcoming artists. I don't get starstruck, none of that. So it's like, how can I help people and still like create this brand? So when I started seeing people like get excited to meet me. And like, I would throw these shows and people would line up just to like say hi or take a picture. I'd be like, what's going on? Like, this is not even something that I thought could happen, but I saw how many people like look up to me and respect me in the industry, like one, either wanting to work with me or just meet me, that I'm like, okay, I got something. I just got to like really figure out like the correct lane to do it. And I enjoyed managing. Like, managing was something that I really liked, which I which I still like to this day. But I knew that wasn't going to be like the final straw. I always knew it was something else. I just didn't know what it was. And then when I got approached by Sync and they like laid out the job description and like what all I would need, I'm like, that's what I do. Like, at this whole time, I'm like, I don't realize I'm marketing anybody, because it's like, I'm a manager, blah, blah, blah. But I was doing so much in so many different avenues. It just made sense.
Yeah. So you said, one of the first people that you managed was Rich the Kid, right?
Yeah.
How did y'all connect, you and Rich?
So Rich, I met Rich from, and I always mess up. So I was managing an R&B singer named Jihad. Jihad was Rich's, which he's signed to Rich now under a new artist name. I think it's like, I don't want to butcher his name. I'm sorry, Jihad, that I don't know your name. It's like J Tune or something like that. But I was working with him first, and this was the same guy that told me put two and two together. So I was like, of course, I'm going to help him. He's a great, great singer. And Rich the Kid was his little homie, sleeping on his couch, always with him. But at this time, Rich the Kid was Black Boy the Kid. So it was like, you should work with Black Boy too. So I was like, okay, cool. So we started being around Black Boy. And then I'm like, I can't call you Black Boy. Like, that's not going
to. That doesn't.
So it's like, first of all, we need to change your name. So we changed his name to Rich the Kid. And we were working. Like, Rich was one of my closest friends. We went everywhere together, all the South by Southwest. We learned so much. And I always knew he was going to be a businessman, because Rich the Kid is the type of artist that's never going to say no. Like, he is going to make it regardless what anyone says. And he did. So I already knew that was going to happen. But yeah, I met him through Jihad. And, we worked leading up until he signed a QC. Once he signed a QC, we parted our ways. Mutual decision. But other than that, like, it was a great experience of learning.
Did QC have anything to do with y'all parting ways? Were they like, we need to take control of Rich?
Actually, me and Rich, like, it was just being young and like so much that we went through together. It was like, and I hate saying this, I was like, I didn't want him to sign to them, because Migos were such a thing, and I didn't want him to be that person just like behind them. Right. I didn't want him to be in competition with the Migos, even though we needed a situation. It was just something we didn't agree on at that time. But at the end of the day, Rich the Kid really helped put the Migos on. So he deserved to be signed to QC, but it just wasn't something I wanted to work with. So we parted ways. Unfortunately, I don't regret it. I think us separating and us living our own lives took us to where we are. We might connect again someday and work in some aspect. But yeah, it was something that I didn't want to continue to do.
But you're the one that got him the notoriety that he got.
Let people say that I didn't. That's usually how it goes. And that's how it went with QC, because you got other people in your ear that's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. You don't need her, you don't need that. Because I already was like, good. I was like, you know what, go ahead and do your thing with QC. There's no like hurt feelings whatsoever. But it just wasn't something I wanted to do. But yeah, I know that. I mean, that happens a lot in this industry, though. Unfortunately, is like, you help an artist take them like as far, and they usually get rid of you. But I will say it was a mutual understanding. I won't say decision, but it was a mutual understanding that this isn't going to continue, and it didn't. And it's fine. But I got, right after that, I started working with Sayari the Kid, which I still manage to this day. I don't know even if I would have continued with Rich back then, if I still would have been his manager. I've heard he's been through like 30 of them, so I don't know.
So you probably jumped ship just right in time.
I still have been there, but I don't even know what I would have had to dealt with on the way there. So it's like I'm okay with the decision.
Yeah. Have y'all ran across each other?
No, I mean we speak like here and there on Instagram sometimes, but even me in LA, I can't wait till I run into him just to like, see him. I would like to.
You in LA, it's inevitable. Y'all gonna run into each other.
I know I'll run into him eventually. He knows I live out here now, I mean, and I can always like set up a lunch or something like that. But I'm like, we'll run into each other. There's gonna be a time where we cross paths again, and whether we're gonna work together or do something, something else, it's inevitable. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, you live and you learn, and what I'm saying, everything's learning experience. And everything's growth. You know what I mean? Like you grew from that. And look where you at right now. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was so young. I'm like, he was a kid. Like he really was Rich the kid. Now he's like Rich the man now. But it's like Rich the kid back then, and I was like in school. I didn't know anything. He taught me a lot. I taught him a lot. So it was a great learning experience, growth experience, and yeah.
Yeah. So you're managing Pacquiao, right?
I am.
And it was Sarari the kid too.
Sayari the kid. Me and Sai actually co-manage Pacquiao together.
Okay.
So now, I'd say I'm his manager, which I am, Sayari's, but we're also business partners. He'll say business partners now, but he has to remember I'm also his manager. But regardless, we work together on Pacquiao. So he's an upcoming artist out of Atlanta. So he just dropped the album.
How did you link with Sayari?
Sayari, kind of going back to when I was interning with Miss River City, he would be at every event. Like every event I was at, he was there. We actually built a friendship. And then what's funny, he had a manager back then. It was this guy named Waikey. And I lived like right in the middle of downtown. So everybody would come to my apartment. We had like this sky deck. So he was like, can I come talk to you? So I was like, sure. And this is funny because I always tell artists, like, don't approach people asking them to manage you. Like if a manager is interested, they're going to approach you, right? They're going to see what you're doing and they're going to kind of reach out. But this was different. So I came to me and was like, hey, I've been seeing you move around the city. I like how you're growing into this. Will you manage me? And this was like and I was like, yeah, like, let's try it. And so came to me and asked me, but like, we already had built that relationship. So it wasn't like a complete stranger being like, hey, will you manage me? It was like something over the years that we both saw each other like develop. And then we were like, let's work together, which worked out for us. We're still working together. He's over at Sync with me. And now he's my business partner. We do other business ventures together. But yeah, that's really how it happened.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned Sync. So Sync, like a record label, a distribution, is it a marketing? Is all the above?
We're a record label distribution company. I mean, I work on the distribution side, but we can sign artists as like a record label. We have a couple on the Latin side. We don't have any I do head of marketing on the general market side, which is like all genres except Latin. I have like 2 Latin artists that I work with right now that I'm building. So I will be doing all genres, but yeah, we're distribution. So we're just like an Empire or like a Stem or a Stream Cut where we distribute music. I will say the only thing different about Sync is it's not easy to sign with us. Like we don't sign just anybody. Like, and I always give this example. I won't say a distribution company, but for example, they're probably dropping like 60 plus records on a Friday, right? Like they're putting out
Empire. Okay, yeah, you don't say it.
Yeah,
you can say it. Let's go. We know you're talking about.
So much music, right? Anyone can sign. I'm putting out 3 or 2 or 1. Like this week I have 3. Next week I have 1. So it's like we're able to give our clients what they deserve. They need that hands-on teamwork. They need people, like say there's a mistake, God forbid, the title's spelled wrong, the artwork's incorrect. You have someone that you can reach out to and get this handled. When it's like, when you go to like a bigger company that's signing so many people, it's like you don't even have that one person that you can like depend on. So that's something we really like at Sync, is like to be able to give our clients the attention that they deserve. So that's one thing I'll say is how we're a little different.
Okay, so y'all more of a moms and pops, a boutique, but not really boutique, but got that boutique vibe to it.
Exactly. And crazy is we're a data-driven company, but we take chances. Like we will help an artist.
What do you mean that you're a data-driven company? What do you mean by that?
So if you look us up, we're a data-driven company, means everything that we do is based off of data. So our parent company is called Go Digital. And underneath Go Digital is Sync Music and a bunch of other companies we have. Like we have Yoga Works, we have Me Too, we have a bunch of companies. It's a very big network. And we actually just acquired Sound Royalties, which is the biggest publishing company. So now that's a part of our umbrella as well. But just everything's data. And like, you know, when you go sign an artist, you're like, let me see their streams. Let me see what they're, and that really does determine if we're going to give you some money, because we want to make sure that we're going to be able to recoup. But when I say we give artists chances, like say we'll just sign you under distribution, but we're really going to focus and give you artist development. And we're going to, you know, how to put out your music. And we're going to give you leverage to go get that deal that you want to get, or you're going to build with us until we give you that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so y'all taking it back old school, wow, like with the artist development, because you know, artist development is something that's basically gone.
I know.
Right? Like everybody's looking for the person that already got everything popping already. And then the labels come on and be like, all right, let me latch on to you. Let me take this percentage of it. You already got your fan base and I'm just going to latch on. But y'all are like, if we see talent in you, then we could try to build you, let you know about the game, build you up from the ground up.
For sure. Yeah. And I see all these major labels, like they take our clients that we get all that done for, like, and that's our goal, right? If we can't give you what you need, like if you want like a big bag and we can't do it at that time, you can go get it from someone else. And we've already like made this way for you, then go get it. Like we're happy with that. But of course we'd like you guys to stay with us and really build with us and be able to get done what you want to get done. But that's our whole thing. Like, yeah, of course we'll sign artists, you know, that are moving, but a lot of my artists are artist development artists. They don't have managers, you know, which actually really helps because I have a management background. So I can't help but like give them that attention. So they get the best of both worlds, because half my clients ask me to manage them. And I'm like, you already have me. You don't need the management, right? You guys already got me. But yeah, we're really different in that aspect, which I like. And another thing, like, going back, we work with all genres. Like I got gospel artists now. I'm from Atlanta. Like I never thought I'd work in gospel, but it's one of like my strongest genres that I work with right now. So it's like gospel to pop to Latin. Like I don't know any Spanish, but I do well in it as far as marketing it. So that's something I love, because being from Atlanta, just listening to hip hop and rap, which is always going to be my favorite genre, it brought me into a whole new world of all these other genres, relationships I didn't have.
Wait, so Atlanta ain't really got that different vibes outside of hip hop and R&B and stuff?
I can't say that they don't, but primarily is like R&B just started really rising in Atlanta. Like now we have all these R&B nights. We didn't have that before. Everything in the club is rap. Like you don't got, and I'm not saying there's probably other like avenues and places in Atlanta, but the scene I was in was primarily, you know, hip hop. Now
and then you go to LA and you got everything when you out in LA. You know, you got the reggaeton, you got the Afro beats, you know what I mean? You got the R&B, you got the soul, you got the hip hop. You go down the street, you got some rock, you got the heavy metal, you know.
I'll go to it like, wow, I've never even like heard of this kind of music, but it's like, it's a vibe, right? And it's like, you think like, oh, I have every relationship I need for hip hop. And then you get into a genre like, damn, I don't have anyone at that genre. So it's like, you have to kind of go back to the drawing board and meet all the right people. And marketing is different in other genres. So it's a great learning experience. I really enjoy working at Sync. You know, they brought me in and treat me like family, and they allow me to do my management, which is very rare in this game. Like usually when you get a corporate job, you got to stop everything you were doing before. All that hunger and entrepreneurship goes out the window. Like I'm still doing it, which I love, and I don't want to stop.
You say you're marketing Latin music and you don't know any Spanish, so how do you go about marketing something that you don't even know?
I don't know. That's so I Sync, a little background on Sync, we're primarily known in the Latin space. So when I'm marketing on the general market side, I have marketing on the Latin side. So when I releases, we tag team them together. they're my client. So I have a girl named Hanau, which is like a Latin R&B, but she's still, it'll be like a mix. It'll be Spanish and English. She just started putting out full Spanish music. But it's like, if you listen to Spanish music, you don't even have to know what they're saying. It's just so like, it's just vibey. It sounds good, especially she can really sing. So I enjoy it. And it's really more so knowing the right people to send it to and the right influencers to use. It's not so much about knowing exactly what they're saying, because she can translate everything for me and give me her pitch sentences and what the story means and all that. So it's just sure the right people get that record and they know they know what she's saying. I don't know. I tried to Spanish. I tried to do it, but like with all COVID, like I couldn't do the online once a week. It just didn't work for me. Like I couldn't, I'm old school. Like, where's my test? Where's my whole, like, I gotta like,
you need a piece of paper and write it down.
Class,
note cards.
Forget it all. Yeah, it just didn't work.
Oh man. Yeah, my daughter's learning Spanish. She's 7 and she knows more than me already.
Yeah, I wish I would have learned back. Like I took French growing up. So I didn't
that's a useless language. Nobody speaks French besides
my mom. She's a French teacher. Shout out to
it's a useless, only people in France and Canada speak French.
Language, but you're not going to use it. Like you're not
using that at all, man. What I know in Spanish, I know every curse word in Spanish. I could curse you out in Spanish. I know that. No.
That's all you need. That's all they think. They'll be like, Diana, know this. And I'm like, you guys are trying to get me in trouble or something. I'm actually our headquarters, not our headquarters, we're in LA, but our biggest office with the biggest amount of employees is in Colombia and Bogota. So I'm actually about to go out there. So I'm like, where's my translator? I'm going to need one.
Oh, so it is truly an international company.
We have offices in like Japan, Russia, Sri Lanka. Like we're all over Orlando. So of course I'm based in LA. They moved me from Atlanta to LA to be in this office like right before COVID. So we don't have an office right now. We have like a workspace, but they're building like a studio and stuff for us out here. But our biggest like team is in Colombia.
Oh wow. That is interesting to hear right there. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So how are you liking the switch from being, engulfed in the hip hop culture and everything, and now being the corporate Diana?
Right. Well, I've always been corporate. So it's like, because I started in the industry in the corporate world. So what's great is I can switch it on and off. I can be corporate, and then I'm back to Diana, the entrepreneur that's like trying to figure out what she wants to do in the industry. But but I will say they hired me knowing like what I do and who I am and my brand and what I'm about. So I don't have to like fake my corporateness there. It's it's a very free working environment. I'm not micromanaged. I can smoke weed. I can party. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I live in LA. It's legal. So I'm not doing anything illegal, but it's like, it's the same for me. But I knew eventually I had to get into that building and like have a machine behind me to really be able to like get my name out there and continue to like rise up in a company, because that's my goal.
So where do you see yourself going? You know what I mean? Like, you've done a lot. You've pushed people. You made people pop. You're the machine behind the folks. So are you trying to be like the Steve Stout? You know what I mean? Or
I don't want
to be the Diddy.
I want to be an executive. My goal is that sync and get a higher position. Like, I'm already high up there, which I super appreciate, but I want more control. I want more power. But yeah, like, I mean, my goal was to always have my own label. Like, it was like, I knew all the talent in Atlanta, like before anyone did, because I threw those shows. So it was like, they all would perform. They all wanted me to manage them, but I'm only one person. So there's only so much I could do for them, but I built so many good relationships, and I'm like, damn, they sign. Like, all my friends sign. Like, I used to hang out with I still hang out with OG Mako, but like Jid, Earth Gang, like all of them performed, and even Rich the Kid, like I obviously can find talent, and like, so really about having a label is just having the money to be able to do it. So that's my goal, which still, it could happen one day in the future, but right now I'm really big on like staying at Sync, continuing what I'm doing there, and just like rising up in the company and doing more and seeing where that.
So with the artists that you are managing, do they got anything that they dropping anytime soon?
Yes. So, well, Sayari just dropped his album on September 10th called Alone But Not Lonely. So we'll be dropping visuals following up after that. Pacquiao just dropped his album end of August, called Dodging the Raindrops 2. And DeMar, he's actually dropping a single on Friday called Right. And he'll be dropping a couple more to end the year. But yeah, I make my artists kind of slow down at the end of the year because the industry shuts down, and it's like, I'm not going to just throw out your music, like, unless it's a Christmas record, which is something DeMar will possibly do because he's an R&B singer. That's cool. But like, our albums are done, and now we're actually prepping for Q1.
Okay. And Q1 starts what, January?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to get that lingo down. Q1, Q2. Is it four Qs?
Q2.
Is it 3 Qs or 4 Qs? How many Qs are there? There's 4 Qs. So what is it, January to June? Is the first Q May?
February, March.
March, okay. March, April, May, then June.
Yeah. So right now, October, November, December, Q4.
So we're in Q4 right now.
Yeah, we're in Q4.
So Q4, you don't do shit. You just chill, relax, kick your feet up.
It's so I can't stop working, but like, I really realized it when I got on the corporate side. Like, people check out, they go home, they go visit their families. Like, after Halloween, it's like, bye.
It's done. I'm out of here. Got Thanksgiving, got Christmas, got New Year's. I see January 5th.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, well, Diana, I've had you on the line for a long time. I know you're a busy woman, but it's been a pleasure speaking with you and understanding the workings that go behind making the music scene what it is. And man, I appreciate what you've been doing. I've been following you for a minute, so I've been seeing you working hard and grinding and doing your whole thing. So you're doing good shit, and I really do appreciate that and appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, that was Diana, the mogul, music mogul, soon to be her own record label. Diana, chopping up game with your boy Natomas Slimm. We out.
But don't share it, it's a secret. 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 Hype beats lock them in a dungeon. Want me